Here's video from 2018, Donald Trump warning Gavin Newsom what could happen in California.
There's been a lot of study going on over the last little while, and I will say I think you're going to have, hopefully this is going to be the last of these, because this was a really, really bad one. And I know Gavin's committed, we're all committed, I'm committed to make sure that we get all of this cleaned out and protected. Got to take care of the floors, you know, the floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have a much different, we're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem. So I know everybody's looking at that, to that end, and it's going to work out.
So there's Donald Trump when he was president, standing next to Gavin Newsom, talking about what needed to be done to avoid the situation we're in. Yep. And basically, Newsom has completely ignored it since then. And now check this out. People will remember this. This is from barely 2 months ago when Trump went on Joe Rogan, and they talked about some of the mismanagement of California and why this could be a big problem in the future.
They said, we have no water. I said, do you have a drought? No, we don't have a drought. I said, why do you have no water? Because the water isn't allowed to flow down. It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north. Water, more water than they could ever use. And in order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water gets poured. I could have water for all of that land. Water for your forests. You know, your forests are dry as a bone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dangerous.
That water could be routed. You know, you could have everything. Oh, not only dangerous, billions of dollars a year they spend on forest fires. And, you know, there's a case with the environment. They're not allowed to rake their forests because you're not allowed to touch it. And all they have to do is clean their forest, meaning rake it up, get rid of the leaves, get rid of, you know, leaves that are sitting there for 5 years. And
we'll certainly get rid of the dead fall.
And get rid of the trees that are fallen that you know, are like.
All right, so there's Trump 2 months ago talking about what needed to be done. And now I want to...
I'm betting the average person thinks to themselves, well, maybe they can't afford it. We are $80 billion over budget on a rail from Bakersfield to Merced. I challenge any of you to find those two cities on the map and explain to me, A, first of all, if you can find them, B, why we need a fast rail between those two. 80 billion over budget, and not one rail has been laid down. That money could have dealt with this problem, no problem.
So no water coming out of the fire hydrants. And Drew, before I let you chime in, let me just throw to a reporter asking Gavin Newsom about exactly that yesterday.
What is the situation with the water? Obviously in Palisades ran out last night in the hydrants. I was talking to the firefighter on this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. I mean, those hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe one fire. You have something at this scale, but again, that's going to be determined by the local.
Drew, everyone knows my feelings about that guy, but that line right there, local folks are going to figure that out. I mean, the buck stops with somebody, man, and I think it's supposed to be you. I can't say, well, I probably could say it, but there's no point in saying what I think.
We're on the internet. You can say what you want. Yeah. But, you have my picture up. So
we got the video back.
So 2 things occur to me. One is, look, when the doors blew off the Boeing planes, the CEO got changed.
Yep.
You fired the CEO. I don't care who's managing a large operation. The buck stops at the top. He's changed. That's it.
Here is a video of Newsom in April of 21 talking about how they're more prepared for these types of events because Biden is president and not Donald Trump.
That's what's different now is we are committed as a team, as a partnership with the legislature and other state agencies, including now the federal government, no longer a sparring partner, but a working partner. Federal government, where we're not addressing headwinds, but tailwinds in terms of the support, a memorandum of understanding, doubling our respective commitments to vegetation management and forest management and prescribed burns, to support the Biden administration with resources, not just rhetoric, to help this collective cause. It's a different paradigm. It's a different framework.
We're starting to
I
beat
bet all that money was spent on studying the ecological effects of forestry management. I bet they did none of it. That's my bet.
Right. Well, that's it, right? I mean, it's just words with this guy. There's just nothing left. And speaking of just words, you may. Oh, go ahead.
He said something. He said, "I don't want to be a sparring partner with the federal government." So why are you focusing your state on preparing to resist the upcoming presidency? That's what you've said your job is now, to Trump-proof the state. Well done, sir. Well done.
That's quite literally what he was saying last week before all of this, that they were getting all of the legal mechanisms in place to fight the Trump administration every which way. You did mention Joe Biden. He's largely irrelevant. He's got less than 2 weeks of this sham travesty left. But listen to this just tone-deaf line. The audio is a little bit muffled, so you guys may have to turn up your audio on this. Take a look.
What's happening? All I want is good news. My son was out there anyway. They got a notification yesterday that their home was probably burning around. Today, there's a lady still standing, I'm not sure. But the good news is, I'm a great grandfather as of today. Granddaughter. Baby girl, baby boy.
Drew, I know we're almost done with this thing, but just that right there, that this man who obviously either has, as we've talked about before, some version of Parkinson's or dementia or whatever it is, who's clearly not in charge, hasn't been in charge, kicked out by his own party, they drag him out there, and the tone deafness to be talking about it's nice to become a great grandfather, but it's all just. It's just it's fiction. It's fiction, except reality.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Right, you wouldn't. If somebody did a movie on this, you go too over the top, too much.
Yeah.
Tone it down. No one will believe this.
Here's Newsom, and who's he pissed at? Well, you can already guess.
I hate to even ask this question, but the president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this.
It's one can't even respond to it. I mean, it's people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to a president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden. And he had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics, didn't try to divide any of us.
Drew, I'm fairly certain that's playing politics right there.
Oh, of course it is. That's all he knows. That's his whole being is a big political entity. Is this political blob.